Some of the information I'm going to give you may fly against like traditional teachings out there, and some of it will totally align with what you hear out there.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman.
And welcome to the Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you today. We're going to jump right into talking about, is it wise to just focus on ideal clients? I'm going to give you a couple of different tracks to consider here, and some of the information I'm going to give you may fly against like traditional teachings out there, and some of it will totally align with what you hear out there. But I'm going to give you some case studies and also some real lived experience I've had in working with hundreds and hundreds of different healers and coaches, and maybe even over 1,000 plus, who knows, over all these 20 plus years. I've worked with thousands of people, really, but really getting deeper into people's businesses, definitely hundreds of different people. And even watching like my colleagues and friends and how they approach things, and is this ideal client thing all it's cracked up to be, or is it hyped up? Is it not really needed? It might be a question on your mind. Most people would probably believe that they do need to focus on their ideal clients, but is it true? Let's get into it. All right, so for a long time, I had a business that was very, very wonderfully positioned for healers to just learn about stepping into their power and gaining the ability to use their intuitive and psychic and healing gifts with confidence and visibility and making offers. And it was through the Academy for Invincible Healers that I grew the multi six-figure business, offering, helping people to move towards six figures and to six figures for a certain number of those healers, and offering energy scan healer certifications. During that time, I felt like it was so easy to find the right people to be a fit in my business. It really felt like, I told a salesperson at the time that it was very well accomplished salesperson. He ran sales for a bunch of different coaching organizations or whatever, coaches, high level coaches and whatnot. And when I told him, I went to one of his trainings, and when I told him I felt like I really have unlimited potential in leads, that I don't really feel like leads is a problem for me, because most people say leads are a problem. Oh my God. I didn't really feel that way. He laughed at me, and he said, he says, well, I believe you believe that, but I, he didn't say this part, but I don't believe it, right? So, but yeah, I mean, really, it was so easy because I was so clear. I just told you a little bit about it, but I had gotten so clear even on, yes, on my certification page. I had it really dialed in all the aspects, like even things like you have wounds with men or your masculine energy, like down to details like that, like more and more details of who exactly they were. And so it made it so easy because I just kept paying attention to the people coming in, and they always seemed to fit like this profile. And by having that clarity, it really did help establish more easily a multi six-figure business, on top of, using the leverage of groups and all that sort of thing. I wasn't doing a lot of one-to-one work with people. I did do some one-to-one sessions within the groups, higher level groups that I did during that time. So, but what happened is I ended up letting go of the academy, and I went back to square one of not having an ideal client, because I felt like it was something I wanted to do something else. So I did different things. I was into helping people with money shadows, and I even certified some of my past practitioners in doing money shadow talk, is what we came up with, because money shadows is used by another organization, as I found out. But I helped people to learn this amazing, super powerful way of dialoguing with the energies that are holding people back from their money, and to flip those energies around so that they really feel an energetic breakthrough. And of course, when combined with intention and action and everything, also can produce tremendous new financial flow as well, and peace, definitely peace around money, you know. So so this work really was taking off, and I was becoming known as the money shadow type of guy. And I was told by an organization, you can probably look it up, but that said, you're using this term, and it's one of those times when, for whatever reason, I didn't look up to see if a term was trademarked. I guess I just didn't look into it. And then I think once I found out that it was trademarked, I was like, well, I haven't really developed it that much. I'm just going to keep calling it that for now. And then they reached out to me. They found out about what it's doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I shouldn't be doing that. Um, so I got a cease and desist basically. I'm like, geez, they're barely using that term in their business, but they still have a trademark. I thought it was very interesting. So I'm getting to the point here, but my point is, that was one permutation, and I did learn to do that really well, and people were excited. They're like, I love it. I said, I'm going to do cruises around this and whatnot. They're like, I'll be there. And people were really loving the work, and my practitioners were loving delivering the work. It's tremendous. And I still do that sort of work for people for sure. So, but it wasn't like the thing. It didn't end up at that time being the thing that I was doing. Once all that came down, like it just started to feel false. Like that's not my path, much less having an ideal client avatar for it. So, for a number of years, I just was a little bit unclear who I'm serving. Then I kind of just continue to drill in. I mean, for a couple years, I would say 2, 3 years or something. Then I was like, I'm helping people who are already like high achievers, and I'm going to help them to achieve more as healers, or if they're already high achievers and they're at a high level of their business, I'm going to help them to scale their business up. And so I had I was at times very consistently marketing to that exact profile in the marketplace. But I also found myself drifting like we do as business people with a lot of desires to do different things, doing different things for a while. I had been for years, just in my academy model, um, and so I kind of sailed around, for a while. Now I'm serving people very similar to what I did back in the academy as part of my clientele. Like, do you want to learn how to do energy scanning, tune into people, and then connect that with your sales process? So it's people usually that either have been doing it for a while, but they feel like they don't have these gifts locked in yet, and they want to lock them in, and they see how it could connect to more clients, or it's people just starting and they want to use this to get their business rolling in the first place, and they want to use this kind of route for getting new clients. So let's talk about some of the different, indications for people to be super clear on your ideal client avatar and focus on them versus scenarios where it doesn't make necessarily a lot of sense. Um, so what I have found is that if you have been in business for only a short period of time, or you're just looking to start a business, there's like a 20-30% chance you're ready to really, really go hard and be very clear on your ideal client avatar. You probably don't know who it is. And so I still would suggest you do your best to try to dial it in, but it's not like we're going to dial it in and that's the only thing you're going to focus on in every single case. And in fact, I would say it can hurt you because you don't know who your ideal client avatar is. So for those of you that are just beginning, like when I was just beginning, I didn't even give that backstory before I got to the academy model. I was offering energy scans and just saying, hey, I can do the healing now after I tuned all into your chakras and told you everything I was picking up. I could do a clearing and you could see these kind of results I would sense from that clearing. And people would consistently invest in that all week long. I got to do all these scans. People keep investing. It was small amounts of money. And I was offering some follow-up programs that some people did. And then from there, I just started offering bigger and bigger offers. And before you know it, it was around six figures. And I decided to open the academy. And I was like, other people could use this to come up the ranks. And when I was coming up the ranks, so to speak, I wasn't focused on an ideal client whatsoever, really. I mean, I'm sure I spoke to a clientele type on my website at the time and whatnot. I had a whole different website. Obviously, this is like in the 2000s. But I found it very helpful not to have an ideal client avatar necessarily, but that I was just really focused on who can I help, to get those first clients going in the first place. And then after you serve, X amount of clients, you'll find like patterns. Like I kept finding I was helping healers. And I'm like, okay, I think it's healers as my ideal clients. And then healer types. Maybe they didn't identify as healers, necessarily, at first, but they're healer types. They're either already doing healing work or they want to go in that direction at that time. So that's what informed ultimately getting hyper specific about who my ideal client was, but I wouldn't have figured that out necessarily. I would have been with a whole different, focus and business model. If I was hyper focused on an ideal client, it would have been completely different. If I had to try to start off from the beginning with just an ideal client profile and then doggedly just stay with it, and then you could just question yourself for years if maybe you're blowing it, like what's wrong with me? I believe this is my ideal client, and yet you don't get too much traction. So it can keep you stuck. It can be a trap to just focus on ideal clients only. In the beginning, it's like dating. This is a person I want to be with. I always tell the story how I met Deb. I'll tell it again for those of you who haven't heard it. I was doing the dating online back in the early 2000s and looking at all these profiles. And because of my gift, I could just see right away who's not a fit, which is basically everybody for the most part for a long-term relationship or marriage. So I'm just like, no, 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 no. And I would go for weeks and weeks and months or whatever it was, a long time, looking on these sites. And I finally just got fed up. I was looking for some kind of, I was intuition, but I was also saying this is my ideal. These are the parameters. These are the criteria. And I couldn't match up my intuition with that profile. Like everything wasn't matching again and again. I just felt like it was not happening. So one day I finally said, that's it. I'm going to find who this person is today, no matter what. Here we go. And I'm not going to have any filters. I used to say, well, they can't have been divorced or have kids because that's just going to make it weird or whatever. I don't want to deal with that scenario. At that time, that was my belief. And I opened up. I didn't care about that anymore. And I immediately found my wife, Deb. And, she had a wonderful child, wonderful daughter already. And the rest was history ultimately. But like, I didn't, I didn't know. I didn't know. I needed to continue to just be really open at first and then let who the ideal is to come to me in that case. It's slightly different, but it's very close to the same type of thing. The analogy holds up pretty well.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate Make Money meditation today.
So, if you're up and coming, if you're not super connected or clear or even fairly connected and really feeling strongly about like a niche or a specific ideal client focus that you have, I would say to work towards having an ideal, but just be open to whatever it could be and start dating. Start just helping people you feel you can help. People complicate it. I need to do posts and reels, and I have to get my email list going, and I gotta get the back end set up, and I gotta do summits, or I gotta do this or that to build my business. I gotta get on more stages. I need whatever, all these things. But the one thing they keep forgetting about is they just have to get into one-to-one conversation with somebody and talk to them about how they could help them. And even if you have a kind of a focus to the type of work you do, you can keep it broad rather than narrowing it like, okay, it's only women after 55 and they're only at this income level and this and this and this and this and all these things. It's, you know, it may be not a great idea. It may limit you so much. It may restrict your ability to gain momentum, which is huge, so much that it's going to be not helpful to you. So help people, meet up with people, go to places where you could make offers, like an energy scan if you learn how to do that for my students. But if you haven't, learn how to offer something that's cool, an assessment or a discovery. Could be a discovery call, but whatever it is, I don't care it as much as like for this podcast, like that you do it. Yes, energy scanning is alluring, so it's just easier to offer energy scanning and have people be like, "Oh yeah, I want one of those," versus like other things. But it depends on what it is. If it's like a specific assessment or audit or whatever kind of call, like that could speak to somebody. And the more specific you make the particular offer, can be helpful. Like I'm doing energy scans just for healers, for example. Like I could make it that clear everywhere, every single time. It's only for healer types, right? But if I wanted to serve other types of people, I could say, I've got, 7-figure launch energy scan. So for anybody who wants to do a 7-figure launch, I'm going to do a scan to help you see what in your energy has to shift to let that happen, and more maybe, right? So I could offer that then. So but if I'm not feeling real connected with that and it doesn't feel completely real, I would do better to just go out and serve all different types of people until I get clear, like that is my thing. So I've said the same thing many times, but repetition is what helps this stuff to settle in. All right. So I made the case for not having an ideal client avatar in that particular stage of building your business up. If you're just trying to get your business going in the first place, and you just want to get a livelihood going, even to, yes, maybe 3 to 5,000 or 5,000 or more minimum. Just get to that five. Some people do have that goal. I don't want to just, for many years, people would say, I want to go to 5,000 rather than 10,000. They naturally would say 5,000 a lot. Now, more people are going towards 10 because, the economy has definitely changed over the years. So what is it that is what's the most important thing, that you get momentum by working with clients or that you get really discerning about who you're going to work with? I'm sure, like I said, this is contrary to some people say, stand on your principles of who you serve and no matter what. But if it's not real for your soul and your soul purpose to serve those people and you don't know it yet, you're not totally clear on that yet, you haven't realized like who it truly is yet, you might be shooting yourself in the foot. You're waiting for something that's not even the right thing anyway. And you would learn who it would be better by just helping some more people faster and starting to notice who actually is saying yes to your offers and becoming your clients. Okay, because they will tend to continue to show certain characteristics, and your ideal will continue to more naturally gravitate towards you more and more as you're coming out with the signals saying, I'm here to serve. All right. So now we've got that established, the wonders of that and how I did that and helped lead me to realize I want to help healers. I want to help them thrive in their businesses using energy scanning and trusting their healing powers and standing in their power, their visibility of who they are as beings and all the things I talked about. Where is the point where you get to where it's ludicrous not to have an ideal client avatar? So let's talk about that. Go more to that extreme. So I use myself sort of as a case study, maybe for the first round. This second round, I could use a few different people. I'll use one of my more recent examples. This client had been, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to, obviously divulge who it is, but was looking to launch a program and it's, fairly higher price points. It's a high-end offer. It's not, just a few $1,000s. It's much higher than that. And so, this person launched Um, a program I successfully has been selling for a while, and the marketing though was really a lot of it was really more generally based. Like, man, do you want these kind of breakthroughs of hitting your goals or what? Like, I'm just making it up. It is not necessarily exactly what was going on, but it's a lot. It's along the same lines. Like, do you want to hit goals? This is how you hit goals, and you'll need to do this X, Y, Z to see that happen. Ultimately, like that's kind of the marketing. Let's just say it's that way. All right. In this case, for a case study, changed a little bit, and so one of the conversations that would keep coming up during the launch while he's driving towards a certain goal. Listen, where's your ideal client avatar focus and why isn't it not in your marketing? For whatever reasons, like it just didn't get, the client really just didn't take to wanting to focus on an ideal client avatar. I'll just say it. Like that's what was happening. It looked like he was going to hit his goal still, though, for a while. Like he almost hit his goal anyway, like for the financial. But there were major issues that showed up towards the end of the launching, including certain people he got rid of from the program because he got so disgusted serving certain people that just kept showing up, even though they could benefit from the program, right? In this case, it's just like I should have had a V8 moment for the client of like, yeah, the way you've been talking to me about those ideal client avatars, I'm ready to listen now. Okay, I'll put it that way. Like I'm ready to. I'm now. I was ready to listen before, but now I'm really ready to dive in and get clear on that. Like, and so like that is one of the ways. The other thing is like you'll find like even if you've got a multiple six-figure business going, if it's possible you can do that even with being general. Like you don't have to be hyper specific to your audience, to a specific audience to have bigger businesses. Like it's possible you can get there. It's easier when you're hyper specific and it's true. It's like that's who you're supposed to be serving and in the way you're supposed to serve them. But at the same time, if you, okay, I'll just say it like if you just allow yourself to be general, you eventually it's going to run out. The universe is going to say you're not focused enough, you're not sharpened up enough on what you're supposed to be doing, and the people that we're wanting you to help the most, and it just starts to run out, starts to dry up. Either it flattens out, or the business just starts petering out too. Could just end even. So what you want to do is as you're building up, don't wait for the crisis to hit. Oh my God, I should have come up with this. Why didn't I? V8 moment, right? As they say, oh, V8 commercials. For those of you that are older, most of you listening probably know about those commercials, but is to go ahead and just realize as you start meeting with some clients, like you're building up your clientele, you constantly want to be thinking about who is actually my ideal client. And when it becomes fairly clear, it doesn't have to be crystal clear, it has to be just strong enough. I believe it's this. This is what it seems to be. All right, throw that right out in the marketplace. Throw it right out in your marketing. You don't have to change your website if it was built on some other premise, right? Just throw it out in the marketplace in your marketing, however you do it. Emails, calls, virtual events, I don't know, like the list goes forever, right? Probably on social media and emails is better to do it there than other things because, you don't want to throw a whole event and like it bombs because you hadn't tested the premise that this is who it is in less costly ways up front, which is recommended. So anyway, you go and you start testing testing basically. And you could speak directly to your ideal client avatar, but if you're not sharing the right things, it may still go flat. Like I'm literally know this is my client, but maybe you're marketing them in a bad way, not talking to the right pain points, the right benefits, whatever, right? So you have to sharpen up your marketing. It may be more about that. So you have to start testing and let it flesh itself out. And then as you have people that are that ideal client avatar you help, then as you help them, then you're mapping out like what was the client journey they were on, right? Like who were they when they came in? Who were they when they came out? So just even from evidence that you have from the people you've already helped, like what was that journey? And then you could talk about that journey in all your marketing. You can talk about those cases, in your marketing. You can share those testimonials in your marketing. So, and then what I see happens when people get hyper specific, when they're already finding those people have been coming around, and then they start using like doing what I just said, their businesses can grow like really quickly, even exponentially, potentially right away. So that would be the time to do it. So if you're not clear and it's clear as mud to you, and you're just getting started, or you haven't had many clients over the years, then you just need to increase your reps and your intentionality around having business, help some more people, and then be in the listening and do the work to help figure it out. Do the work. The work is paying attention to what's already coming in and just honestly meditating, doing the deep dive, questions and answers of who this person is. And so I'll share with you how you can get access to that through me. There's so many people that, offer you this opportunity. I wanted to bring something different today of talking, when does it make sense to have an ideal client avatar? Should you really focus on one or not? So that's what I really wanted to get into today. So if you're like, yeah, I want to start, it's never too, I would say that it's really never too early to start. As part of my energy scan training, I do offer that to a level, right? I offer some of those materials and whatnot to help people start thinking about it, even if they're just getting started. Not as the be and end all, but to give them a starting point. So, what I would tell you is that if you go back, if you have worked with a number of clients, do the profiling. Okay, who are these people? What are the common characteristics? What are their pain points? What do they suffer from? What are their psychographics? What are their demographics? All those ideas, right? All the things. And then also take the time to do the meditation and ask various questions. Maybe just sit on a park bench and have a conversation with one of them. That's the most basic method. Like just sit down on a park bench in meditation somewhere, ask for your ideal client to pop into the picture, have a conversation with them, and you'll start aligning with them right away, right? And as you keep connecting with the energy of your ideal client avatar, they just start coming into your reality anyway, right? And as you start doing it more with the marketing, you'll just have typically more results as long as the marketing is energetic aligned, you structurally align it, right? Like all the different things, you'll get more and more results. But honestly, if it's energetically aligned, like that's the number one piece, and everything else will tend to flow much better. So, if you're interested to find out more about what is the thing I'm supposed to be even doing and how am I supposed to approach this whole thing, as far as the ideal client avatar, one thing that can help to start to build that clarity is just to start to meditate and start asking the questions. Now, I do have a free meditation to just meditate and make money. So you can get that at yoursacredpurpose.com. And you can just sit with your guide and open up your energies and your chakras and have you connect with your guides. And then the downloads will come to you of what it is that you're meant to be aware of. And you'll get ideas that may or may not be for you all the time, like, but it's stimulating your energy towards what is true for you. So you have to use your deeper embodied intuition to discern the things that you're kind of downloading when you're in meditation mode, whether or not they are truly for you, truly for you. And then you could start working with those ideas. So get the free meditation. At a minimum, you have a good set. People like the meditation. So very much. People say it's encoded with things. Cool things spiritually. So go to yoursacredpurpose.com, get your free meditate, make money meditation. If you want to up that game and do the client avatar stuff and all that, there are some upgrades that are, like $77 or whatever. Depends on when you're there, but anyway, somewhere in that price range where you can learn all about meditating and making money and figuring out too your ideal client avatar with a system of really asking very pertinent questions about who your ideal client avatar is. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com after you get the free Meditate and Make Money meditation. Okay, so that's where you can get started to take it to that next level. You should always be doing some level of work of sharpening the saw, even if you know who your ideal client avatar is. So it might be helpful for you to get it anyway. And yeah, we all need to be doing more meditation typically, and to allow ourselves to get more of these clear downloads of who is it? What am I supposed to be doing right now? And do it the easy way, the meditate and make money way. All right. And and as you're taking action, which is obviously key once you get the downloads and you get the inspiration, put the focus on what it is that you're sensing is wanting to unfold through your business. Then, that's where the magic happens. That's where you start hitting the abundance. You start hitting having consistent clients, or maybe for some of you, yeah, depending on where you're at, maybe you're finally able to scale that business up to the next level and get sharper on who it is you're really serving. Okay, so check all that out again at yoursacredpurpose.com. Get the free Meditate and Make Money meditation. If you want to go deeper and learn more about meditating and making money, which is taking action and meditating and making money is the combo that really has worked for me always in doing better in my business. So highly recommend it. And like I said, there's a deep dive with a workshop and whatnot. Next step, if you want to take that step as well, after you get the free gift. All right, guys, that's what I want to share with you today. Let me know if this was helpful. Was it helpful to have to be given like these keys from someone with about 20 years of experience in this field, and what I've seen, works and doesn't work for people when it comes to ideal client avatars? Focus on them now or not, or do I just pick it and hope for the best to start that way? Usually no. Usually you should gather intel first and sit with it and just start helping people. Every once in a while, somebody will be really clear coming in, but that's not typical. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm so grateful to have shared with you. Do it the spiritual rock star way, right? Being tuned in with Source, Spirit, the great energy that we are, and rocking it here. And here on this 3D, 4D reality as well, and in spirit. All right. So very good sharing with all of you today. Also, be sure to check out the next Energy Scan Secrets call, where you'll learn more about how I help people with energy scanning and how you can learn how to do energy scanning to scan into people's energies and chakras, and to connect that with getting those initial sales, getting clients. It's a proven system I've used, for myself and taught to hundreds of other people, hundreds of other healer types. And so go ahead, check out the call. You'll get an energy scan from me potentially, depending on how many people are on the call. I'll be happy to provide you with an energy scan. And at a minimum, you'll get a demo and see how it works and get secrets of how you can start using it right away, even on the free call. All right. And like I always say, keep on tuning in and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.